The universe is God's. It is one thing, a wholeness against which all separations may be identified. Transient life, even that self-aware and reasoning life which we call sentient, holds only fragile trusteeship of any portion of the wholeness. Commentaries from the CET, Commission of Ecumenical Translators. Halleck used hand signals to convey the actual message while speaking aloud of other matters. He didn't like the small anteroom the priest had assigned for this report, knowing it would be crawling with spy devices. Let them try to break the tiny hand signals, though. The Atreides had used this means of communication for centuries, without anyone the wiser. Night had fallen outside, but the room had no windows, depending upon glow globes at the upper corners. "Many of those we took were Aaliyah's people," Halleck signaled, watching Jessica's face as he spoke aloud, telling her the interrogation still continued. "It was as you anticipated, then," Jessica replied, her fingers winking. She nodded and spoke in open reply. "I'll expect a full report when you're satisfied, Gurney." "Of course, my lady," he said, and his fingers continued. "There is another thing, quite disturbing. Under the deep drugs, some of our captives talked of Jacurudu. And, as they spoke the name, they died." "A conditioned heart stopper?" Jessica's fingers asked. And she said, "Have you released any of the captives?" "A few, my lady. The more obvious calls." And his fingers darted. "We suspect a heart compulsion, but are not yet certain. The autopsies aren't completed. I thought you should know about the things of Jacurudu, however, and came immediately." "My Duke and I always thought Jacurudu an interesting legend, probably based on fact," Jessica's fingers said, and she ignored the usual tug of sorrow as she spoke her long-dead love. "Do you have orders?" Halleck asked, speaking aloud. Jessica answered in kind, telling him to return to the landing field and report when he had positive information. But her fingers conveyed another message. "Resume contact with your friends among the smugglers. If Jacurudu exists, they'll support themselves by selling spice. There'd be no other market for them except the smugglers." Halleck bowed his head briefly while his fingers said, "I've already set this course in motion, my lady." And because he could not ignore the training of a lifeline, added, "Be very careful in this place. Ali is your enemy, and most of the priesthood belongs to her." "Not Javid," Jessica's fingers responded. "He hates the Atreides. I doubt anyone but an adept could detect it, but I'm positive of it. He conspires and Aaliyah doesn't know of it." "I'm assigning additional guards to your person," Halleck said, speaking aloud, avoiding the light spark of displeasure which Jessica's eyes betrayed. "There are dangers, I'm certain. Will you spend the night here?" "We'll go later to Sietch Tabr," she said, and hesitated, on the point of telling him not to send more guards, but she held her silence. Gurney's instincts were to be trusted. More than one Atreides had learned this, both to his pleasure and his sorrow. "I have one more meeting, with the Master of Novitiates at this time," she said. "That's the last one, and I'll be happily shut of this place."